Yes, folks, we're back for another sojourn into the place I call K-PHRED land with the denizens or K-PHREDolins or not. Today, we start a change in K-PHRED Prime Live with the welcome to a female co-host who's proved as stubborn as I am in moving forward, our own Barbara Wainright. Hello, Barbara.
Hello, Fred. I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you.
Yes, that just proves that you share some attributes with our landlord, Mr. Jeff Norris of TCG Solutions. But that's so. What's been happening in Barbara world lately? How's Spider-Man?
Spider-Man is doing great. It's so wonderful to have him back home from being out and protecting the world, and so we're really delighted to have him back on board here, and he's having a good day. Already spent time on his Xbox, and now he's out roaming and making sure our community is safe.
So just so everyone realizes that being the grandparent of a superhero is a prerequisite to be a co-host on K-PHRED Prime Live.
Or the host, for that matter, right?
Exactly. So besides Spider-Man doings, what's happening in Wainright Global International?
Oh, my gosh. Well, we're working on the 4th collaborative book. All the chapters have been turned in, so it's a matter of formatting it and getting it off to the publisher. So that's pretty exciting. I have a class coming up August 17th and 18th where I have a couple new students that are going to be becoming certified professional coaches, so changing the world for the better there. Let's see. And I have just been asked to not only co-host on this show, but another show called A Better World. So lots of things are happening.
Awesome. All right. So then let me ask you this. What's the weirdest question you're going to ask our guests?
The weirdest question.
Sorry, the most down the rabbit hole question, because I'm going to let you take some shots too, so that way we get down the rabbit hole from male and female.
Okay, so I'm not so sure that I really want to go down a rabbit hole. What really inspires me is hearing about other people's hopes, dreams, desires, goals. What is it within them that lights them up? What difference do they want to make in the world? What do they want to gift them? What are their talents? What are their strengths? What are the things that they love to do? That's what I want to hear about.
You definitely live in California, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, there's just that whole, central south side of Chicago mentality we won't go in there with. So all right. So let's bring on the guy who owns the land underneath K-PHRED, Mr. Jeff Norris. For those of you who are listening, I do want to say you can chat live at the website, kphed.com, or you can dial in to 323-580-5755. I'm really happy that that's back and working because the last 2 Lunch with Lynns on Thursdays, which is also live, did not have the dial-in number. So 323-580-575 or 5755, sorry, or kphed.com. So let us bring in the landowner, the man who needs a haircut, Mr. Norris. How's life in Seattle?
I just got a haircut.
Yeah, get another one.
You don't like my hair.
No, I don't.
got some.
That's why I wear a hat, folks. That's why I wear a hat. So, what's new in Techland and in Seattle land? And then I got to ask you about a rumor.
Intel CPUs. Intel just released a thing about their CPUs having some fatal flaws. 13th and 14th gen. It's a big, big, big deal. So there's lots going on there. Seattle. We got the
wait before you go to Seattle. My co-host Barbara gets to ask you the next question. You don't get to answer all three questions at once. Be fair. Let the lady have a shot at you.
Okay, so Jeff, what is it that really makes your day? What lights you up? What is it that you want the world to know about you?
Wow.
Not so much about me. It's about, helping others. I get joy and get fed off of making, providing other people success. That's what I like to do. I like to see my kids successful. I like to see, people I work with successful. I don't really care to be in the spotlight if I can help it. So
I understand completely, because you are working with computers mostly for the majority of your day, I would imagine. Is that true?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. So working with your computer the majority of the day, I would say probably a good percentage of the time things make sense. But when you hear from Intel that there's an issue with their CPUs and it's huge, that's not a good thing.
No, we have a couple of clients where there are issues going on, and we were, hitting our heads against the wall trying to solve them, and then Intel came out and released this, and it might very well be the problem. So it's kind of nice when you finally find out it wasn't you. And, Intel has a really good track record of doing a really good job. So this is like, new turf, new area, so. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry,
I
had to get that one in there.
Yeah. So not only did Intel have an issue then, this week, wasn't there, or was it last week, there was a huge security.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a law for this, right, Fred? Is it Murphy's law?
Well, see, actually,
everything that will go wrong, or everything that can go wrong, will go wrong.
But see, Murphy was an optimist. Everything he didn't take it far enough. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong with the worst possible consequences at the worst possible time.
And that had to be what the security people were thinking last week when all of that happened. They had to shut down airports and trains and subways, and oh my gosh, that was huge computer glitch. And from what I've heard, the cyber security insurance will only cover about 20% of their losses. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right, so let's go to Seattle. What's new in Seattle? Rumor has it.
Seafair coming up this week, so that'll be fun. The Blue Angels will be in town, and that's kind of what's going on in Seattle.
So rumor has it you're talking with going to be meeting somebody in Seattle of interest to K-PHRED folk.
Yes. Sorry, that was not. Yes, so I'm going to be meeting with a radio station. Brad, help me out. Radio station.
We'll just leave it at that right now.
Okay. So, yes, I'll be meeting with them, with their program director, and I've yet to set up that appointment, but that will be something I'll be doing that this week. We're hoping to find some synergy with KPHRED and the radio station, potentially even some others as well as things progress.
Nice.
So.
Go ahead, Barbara.
I think that's wonderful, Jeff. What I heard was that the Blue Angels are going to be in town, and I am so curious. Are you going?
I will probably not be. I'm actually going to be driving down to Anaheim with my kids. So, going to go visit Mickey Mouse and do that. So I will be driving down Friday, heading into LA, and we'll see how that goes. And I'll be back on like the 8th or 9th. So I will miss the Blue Angels, but those will make a lot of people happy around here.
Oh, for sure. But Disneyland will be a lot of fun for you and your family. That's for sure.
Disney is always a good vacation.
Absolutely.
All right. I'll ask the last question, then we'll move on. Actually, we'll go. See, I don't know if you can take Jeff down the rabbit hole. He's been living there for the last several years. So
I found the other side, Fred.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. When's your show going to pop?
I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks. I'm working on details. For the listeners, we're looking at a show for dads that have gone through nasty divorces. So me and a friend of mine will be hosting a show talking about some of the ins and outs of all that. We've both been through some pretty crazy divorces and have kids, full-time dads. We have our kids. Well, I have mine full-time. He has his a greater sum of the time. So kind of talk about some of those issues. And we got a lot of plans. So we'll see how it evolves and develops, but one step at a time.
So for those of you who haven't gone through divorce, I would call it advanced hand-to-hand combat.
Or suicide.
Oh, gosh. So now we have to ask the question, right? Is this when we get to ask the wisdom question, Fred?
Go ahead. Ask the wisdom question.
So, in your many years of experience in life on this planet, what would you say was your biggest wisdom growing, learning lesson?
The divorce and all that had to entail.
So what was the piece of wisdom that you would like to share with all of us based on that? Everybody has issues. Nobody, the phrase, nobody's getting out alive. we're all screwed up. It's like another guest on the show said, we're all freaks and we have our own issues. So it's trying to work within those and being patient for other people, showing kindness, deference, not assuming where they're coming from, but rather listening and figuring it out, because assumptions will typically hurt us. Ooh, that's the word. So making assumptions is not a good idea, and listening and paying attention to what somebody is saying is a good idea. And from doing that, the wisdom that you can glean would be? Patience. Wait. Yeah. Patience is a virtue. Got it. Seldom found in women. Sorry. There's a quote that guys use. It's seldom found in men, never found in women, but
So for me,
you got to realize a bunch of bitter men. So,
and honestly, the best advice I've ever heard was from Judge Judy of, you got to love your kids more than you hate your.
That's good stuff.
That's a good one.
And I can tell you, the kids realize it, and even the grandkids, when you get them, sense something's different. So, Barbara, who's our next guest? You get to pick the next victim.
Oh, let's do Matt.
Matthew, come on down. So, Mr. Rockholt, you and your co-host, who will victimize later, have already launched a first episode, and you're about to restart the show. Tell us about it. The short version.
Well, like I said earlier, it's about recovery.
The short version.
How do you get to the day without resorting to your without getting high, without overeating, without over exercising, without over whatever.
Are you saying I have to give up coffee?
I would never tell you that, Fred, because we know that, you are coffee. In fact, we've got a great video for you to watch. It's called Fresh Pots. Look it up sometime on YouTube.
That's cool. All right, so Matt, about the type of people that you would expect would want to listen to your show. Who do you think your show would be great for in terms of a listener?
Hurting people. People are looking for a way just to learn how to get through a day, and people with the experience of how to do that. This is kind of more about maybe getting somebody out of that foxhole, by getting in it with them.
Nice.
And give them a hand up, not a handout, a hand up.
Yeah.
And treat them with respect and dignity and, all of that.
Excellent. So people that are hurting and are feeling like they can't make it another day, maybe not even another hour, can tune into your show and get some hope that there's light on the other side of where they're at right now, and can tune in and be lifted up.
And also, that sometimes that light at the end of the tunnel is not the oncoming train.
I love that. That would be some wisdom right there. Yes, it looks so. Yeah, the light at the end of the tunnel isn't necessarily an oncoming train. It can be your courage, strength, and hope that things can be different.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Naomi, did you want to chip? Because you're the co-host, right, Naomi?
Yes, I am.
So would you like to share as well?
Yeah, I would love to. I'm a talker, so I love that. Yeah, I agree with what Matt said about how we're reaching out to people who are in pain, who want some relief and who want something different. And we're kind of, at least my hope is that we're going to offer something that gives people hope.
Nice.
Because I know that when I was in trouble and I was in darkness, I just needed someone to tell me that there's hope and that things can get better, and they will get better. You just need to hold on and do the work, and you'll get better. It'll get better.
Yeah.
And it has. It's gotten exponentially better. Like in the last year, I've done some really heavy lifting on some childhood abuse history, and I am not the same person that I was when I started that journey. I have come completely to the other side of that now, where I don't feel like I'm living under a shadow of grief and pain and fear and all the things. Like I suddenly woke up a few months ago and realized that I was free. And it's about now it's living in that and not allowing myself to fall back into that darkness.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting. It's a very exciting time for me.
And I think
I really am enjoying that, and I'm really looking forward to carrying that light to people in darkness.
I love that, and I think the piece of wisdom that I heard from you is that this too shall pass. So whatever it is that you're going through, the darkness or whatever the hard times that you're having, it will pass. It will move on. So
very much so.
Yeah, it will change, and you will change. and the things you're experiencing will change. It's part of living. Everything is subject to change.
Yes. Yeah, one of the only guarantees in life is change.
That's right.
But change can be very, very, very scary.
Yes.
And unless you have people around you that have been through that and have, that know what courage is, we try to set a good example, and maybe, like you said, give the hope. Hope is such a huge thing, I mean, just a little piece just can blossom and grow. So, yeah.
And having people in your corner,
mm-hmm.
having good people around you. And I want to, I seek to be one of those people that it can be there for someone who's going through their stuff and needs support. I really look forward to doing that.
All right. Thank you so much, Naomi and Matt. I so look forward to your show. I know that you're going to be making a difference for a lot of people out there. And, my prayer is that they tune in and get that courage, strength, and hope from your show. Thank you for that. Thank you for being there for them. I appreciate it. All right. Catryn. Did I pronounce your name right, Catryn?
Nailed it. Well done.
Great. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing about your show and the difference that you're going to make. I already have really good vibes about it. So share.
Oh, yay. So the show is called The Good, Bad, and Ugly of Business. And in this show, I interview all sorts of different business owners to learn what they've learned in their careers. Because so often we only hear, especially on social media, we only promote the successes, the achievements, the awards, but rarely do we see, the bottom of the iceberg, everything that went in to getting to that achievement, to climbing to that top of that mountain. So we really dig into the dirty underlayer, the bad and the ugly of what they've gone through and sort of the mental struggles that they had to overcome, places where they didn't feel supported, and mental issues that they needed to overcome, and, childhood traumas, as, Matt and Naomi were mentioning, that there's so much things that are under there that people have to overcome to get to those successes. So we talk about it so that other people can hear it and understand that whatever it is that they're going through in their business, and a lot of times it's talking about life too, because they're pretty inextricably linked, right? We're the same person, whether we're home or we're at work. So it's important to look at the people as a whole person and just to know that we're all going through something. And this is how one person overcame whatever that was.
That's outstanding. So anybody that's looking toward, maybe building a business or thinking about it would benefit from hearing other people that are in business that maybe struggle to get where they are, or, you're right about that. Social media, people don't post on social media. Dang, I had this partner that really screwed me over and I lost everything.
Exactly.
But that happens a lot. I know other people that has happened to as well. So it can be a really shocking when that happens. I mean, you're going into business, it's like getting married. When you're going into business with somebody, it's like getting married, and then to have somebody, your partner, turn around and do you wrong can be really heartbreaking and could be a showstopper for some people. It might just, send them off the deep end, or it gives them the inner strength and they get that courage to keep moving forward. So that's the kind of things you're going to be talking about on your show.
Yeah, it's the whole gamut of everything of, why someone's chose to do whatever business that it is. And so majority of the guests are entrepreneurs. They're the founders. They've started their journey. So we talk a lot about, where they came from. I'm really curious about the switch from people who came from, the corporate W-2 life and made the entrepreneurship, and, what kind of was the catalyst, that transformative moment. But then also people who are just born entrepreneurs. They just knew they were entrepreneurs out the gate, and kind of how their evolution as an entrepreneur has changed over the time. But it's also for people who are in the W-2 jobs now, because it's all people and all how we're relating, because we don't always have, I came from environmental engineering for 20 years as the W-2 employee, and we don't always have that person at work that we can that business BFF, as it were, of being able to talk about those things. Because I know when I'd come home, my husband's very well-meaning, and I try to explain what was going on, and he doesn't know all of the pieces and the parts, and he would try to solve my problems when really I just wanted someone to listen.
Right.
So there's a bit of that aspect as well, and hearing from other people's stories, it's relatable, and it helps bring a sense of belonging that we're all going through similar things, that we can relate to it, and at the end of the day, we're way more connected than we think.
Absolutely. I agree with that. So what piece of wisdom would you want to share with our audience today?
I love this question, and I think it's such a beautiful question to ask because we all have wisdom. We all have experienced life. We all have something to share, and it's so easy to look to different gurus and think that they have all the answers without, understanding and realizing our own sovereignty that we have.
Yeah.
So I think the wisdom that is really coming through for me is around choice, that often people are slaves to their own emotions and think that they have to react a certain way without realizing that it's just a subconscious program that's been implanted.
Yes.
But we have the power of choice. We have the power to rewrite those patterns. An example of that, to bring it back to what you were talking earlier with Jeff about not cloud strike? Yeah, cloud strike, the outage that affected all of the airports. I was actually in Seattle last week, and my flight was supposed to leave at 5 p.m. with my mom and my kids. And I knew about the outage because it had started that morning. And so I've been checking, and my flight's still on time. So we left our Airbnb, checked out. We were driving into the SeaTac airport when I get the text. I'm sorry, your flight has been canceled. And this is like 3 hours before our flight. So it's like, okay, pull over, got to figure this out. I had the choice in whether to freak out or to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I could say, okay, you know what? We're going to make it work. And my husband's like, just drive home, we'll pay whatever the rental car fee is. And to drive home would take 3 days. And I thought, well,
sorry.
Right? Yeah. It is 12 days or 3 days, and that's driving 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Between my mom and I, because I thought there's no way we could try to do it in a day and a half of no stop with 2 kids. It's insane. So it's like, okay, well, we'd have to get a hotel anyway if we were going to drive. So as long as we're here less than 3 days, no harm, no foul. We get to have extra time in this beautiful part of the country. If anyone has not gone to the Pacific Northwest, I highly, highly recommend it. We had the best time. It was lovely. So we had a choice in the matter and said, okay, let's figure this out. And, we're able to extend the hotel. We're able to find extend the rental car. And luckily we were able to get on the next flight the next night. So we got on the flight, got home, and all is well. And I didn't yell at anybody, and we just had a good time about it, whereas otherwise it could have been miserable. So the power of choice in every situation is always something that we have access to.
I love that. That's a great piece of wisdom to share, is that, life is full of choices. And the decisions that we make in this moment can impact us for the rest of our life. So it's good to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And really,
10-second pause.
That's right. A 10-second pause and consider the outcomes, the consequence, the impact that choice is going to have moving. That's a really great piece of wisdom for sharing. Thank you so much, Catryn.
All right. So now I'm back. We isolated an audio issue. So now I'm back, and we're going to go down the rabbit hole. And your winning ticket for today is Alien Invasion.
Okay.
So, for the alien invasion of the future, who establish business, besides establishing communities and local businesses, how will you help those alien-run businesses expand in the human areas without negatively impacting human-run businesses? This assumes alien-human interaction on a friendly basis.
Well, and it also assumes that aliens aren't already here and already running businesses.
Yeah, there's also, since they're not running governments either, but that's a different rabbit hole I don't want to go down to.
I'm like, which rabbit hole do we want to go in? Because we can take the wily.
No, I don't want to.
The twists and turns.
I don't want to pick the one that's most likely true. I want to go with the one I came up with.
Well, I think with all of us, we all feel a little bit alien. I think we all really live in our own universes. Like no one else can understand completely each and every one of our existence and what we experience through that existence. So I think the same advice that would work for humans would also work for aliens, and that's just to listen. We need to understand what it is that we all need at the end of the day, and actually listen to the other person without any preconceived notions, without any judgments, without any agendas. And I think that for us all to thrive and be successful, aliens or not, that advice would probably hold true. If the aliens are grotesque looking to humans, then I would suggest that they wear something to hide themselves.
Which takes us back to that first rabbit hole of masks. All right. Thank you, ma'am. We look forward to your show coming on.
Me too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent. Barbara, so since you've been riding herd over things, who do you want to pick next?
Oh, I believe Kelly was up next.
All right.
Fred keeps talking about people being victimized, so I'm reporting for victimization.
Bring it, Barbara.
Sorry, go ahead.
So Kelly, tell us about, first of all, tell us about your show and what your show is about, and then who would be the person that would be wanting to listen to your show? So who are you attracting in terms of an audience to your show?
Well, our show, I have a co-host, Liz Lewine, and she was on this show 2 weeks ago. Our show is really about helping teens figure out their path after high school. So our show is called Beyond the Books, Teen Success Secrets. I am a college admission strategist, and my co-host Liz is a teen and young adult career coach. So between the two of us, we help students, whether they are choosing an alternative path, like going to trade school or going straight into industry, or taking gap years to figure out who they really are, or in my case, do they want to go to college, and what's the best way for them to get there? And that actually, contrary to what most people think, actually starts in 7th and 8th grade today. Mm-hmm. So we're really walking families and students and parents and educators through the process of helping these kids determine who they are. A lot of that at that age is really difficult because I don't know about you, but I don't know too many 16-year-olds who really know who they are. But part of what we do is help them figure that out. Liz has a way of, helping the students figure out what kind of a career is going to be best for them. Is college really the right thing for them? And it's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
And no, it's not. And then, I work with students also once we establish that college is for them, they need to do certain things to get into college. I also, working with Liz, help them figure out what's the best major for them. Because major also, it doesn't just factor into what job they're going to get after college. It factors into their happiness in college, their success in college. And it also factors into, what school are they able to get into? I have worked with students who have to be careful what major they pick, because if you pick one major, it's very hard to get into that particular school. If you adjust that major slightly, you can get in to the school you want and still have the life you want. Yeah. So we're really helping teens figure out who they are, where they're going, and how to get there.
I love that. That's powerful. And it's the best time of their life to be making those decisions. it could be they could get to the end of their college years and goes, I don't even want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Right? And then they spent all that time, all that money, and they're trying to figure out who they are and what they want to do next. And it's not what they spent 4 years learning about.
And that's why we focus so much on that. But also for me, the key is getting into the right fit college. If it's the right college for them, and that's why parents and educators and even high school college counselors would be great people to listen to our shows. They could say, hey, this student needs to talk to this person over here, or this student really needs some support in figuring out which of these colleges they should apply to. On my end, if they do apply to college and it's the right school, there's a way to save a lot of money on college by doing that.
Absolutely.
So really, it's not just somebody else talked about choice. It's about helping them follow their choice, helping them understand who they are, and helping them realize their dreams.
And I love that so much because I can't tell you, I teach people about coaching, right? And I can tell you the number of people that they come to my class and they get coached for the first time, and they're adults, and they're coming to my class to become certified as a professional coach. However, as they're being coached in class, they're digging deeper and they're going, what I really want to do is write a book, or what I really want to do is travel the world, or and so when we're saying, okay, what steps are you going to take to build your coaching business? We're not implying that. We're saying, so what's your next best step? What are you going to do? It's not build my coaching business. It's I'm going to figure out where I want to go and travel and where I want to spend the next 6 months to a year of my life, or I'm going to sit down and write my book that's been in my heart to create for the last 20 years, so having somebody ask you when you're at that age is so golden, Kelly, because that is the time where you've got your whole life in front of you, and you can make those good choices now to express what's in your heart. I love this, Kelly. For me, this is something I would be super passionate about for teens and young adults, to find out where they're meant to go, what they're meant to do in this world, and start taking steps towards that. And it doesn't necessarily, like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean college.
Right.
Certainly, if you want to be a medical professional, you're going to go to college. But, if you're going to be a paramedic, what is required there, right?
Right. Well, and you mentioned, people that are wanting to study to be a coach decide that what they really need to do next is write their book. Both Liz and I came to this career over many years. This is a second career for both of us,
yes,
but it's our second act. But we both came to it because of things that happened in our teen years. Liz was not the college candidate, and she ended up doing a gap year that for her, she likes to say it not only built my life, but it saved my life. And so that was the impetus for her doing a lot of the things that she is doing, and now doing what she does as a teen and young adult career coach. For me, I was 13, 14 years old, and a teacher said to me, you're going to make a difference someday in the lives of teens. So I decided, because I saw the people around me, all teens have issues, right? They all struggle. And I decided I wanted to write books for young adults in a fiction way that would give a message.
Nice.
I've not done that yet, but over the stretch of my career, I was a teacher. I was a speech and debate coach. I also have done financial coaching, but have really discovered a way to impact students, make a difference in their lives. And by the way, that book will come.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Oh, my gosh. So what I'm hearing is that you have gleaned a lot of wisdom over the years, and I would love it if you could share some of your wisdom with us.
Well, I think the biggest thing I can say is have an I can attitude. I grew up not, and we've talked also about, things that happen in childhood that affect who we are or who we think we are.
Yeah.
I definitely grew up with that. You can't do that. This is not who you are. You're not ever going to be able to do that. But over the years, I've realized I can change careers. I can impact people. I can start a business and run a business on my own. And I can go out there and do all of these things. So when people have that I can attitude, I can apply to this college that scares me, you know. That's really a big part of what can help us become successful.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you know,
Yeah.
I believe, I don't know, my belief is that if it's in your heart to create something, it's meant to be, like, get on it and do it. And that's what you're helping these teens and young adults with is, like, what is it what is your passion? What is it that you want to do? And then helping guide them into the right direction. Powerful stuff. So thank you so much, Kelly. I'm sure your show is going to be fantastic. And I don't know if we have an alien question coming up.
Oh, see, that would be giving it away. So,
okay.
No, we're not going to go alien. We're going to go AI.
Ooh, a topic I don't know a ton about, but let's see what we can do here.
All right. So, as AI gets smarter and smarter, AI, as we've seen in the movie The Matrix, will end up having little AIs. How will you have to adapt your business in order to help AI children get into human universities?
Oh, okay. Well, AI, unfortunately, a lot of AI can be about duplicating things and looking one way, looking like you're something that you may not actually be. So, again, part of this can be helping the little AI children figure out who they really are and figure out where they need to go, where they can adapt best. So that would be how I would help little AI children get through the college or the alternative path.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Shall we move on to our next person, Barbara?
I think that's going to be Karen. Bruna, I understand Bruna is here and she needs to go, but certainly can we at least get the name of your show, Bruna?
The name of my show will be Silver Tech Talks. So my audience is geared towards older adults and that part of life, like retirement or the third age or whatever you want to, however you want to define it, and how to enjoy it via technology. And that's what I'm going to do.
Silver Tech Talks. I love it.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. It was nice. Till next time.
Next time, Bruna. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Karen, come on down.
Hi, everyone. Karen Putz here. Really thrilled to be here. So my show, we'll dive right in. My show is actually called Life Part 2. And the catalyst of that is that at the age of 44, on my birthday, I tried the barefoot water ski, something that I had done 20 years prior to that, and I couldn't do it. So at the age of 44, I felt old. I felt like, oh my gosh, half of my life is over and I haven't really lived it. And what is there to look forward to? Wrinkles, sagging skin, diminished energy. That was what was going through my mind. Many of my friends were slowing down. They were getting gray hair. And so my view of getting older wasn't very bright. And then a 66-year-old woman came into my life, and she was barefoot water skiing. And she started when she was 53. So she kind of just turned my life around. And that's what Life Part 2 is going to be all about people who have woken up in midlife or woken up at a certain point in their life and made decisions that turn things around. We'll be interviewing people who are doing amazing things, at all stages of their life.
I love that. Wow. So it's the name of the show again is?
The name of the show is Life Part 2.
Life Part 2. I love that. And I love that you met somebody who was 53 and they were doing something brand new in their life. That's amazing. That's amazing. I do know a lady who at the same age of 53 became an attorney. And her motivating factor was she wanted to help people who wanted to adopt children to go through the adoption process, and she needed to be an attorney to make that happen. So, you know what? The sky's the limit, right? We have so much that we can do. 53 isn't the showstopper. It's the beginning of you getting to do what it is that you feel called to do. I love that. I love that.
I'm excited, really excited about it. If you think about it, I mean, we are living longer. We're living to 90 to 100. And why not do something new? Why not do something fun? Life is not about sitting around and having the same day over and over and over, you know, Groundhog Day. Right. We are meant for more.
I love that. I love that. So for people that are you going to be interviewing people then that have gotten out and made a difference in their life? They've decided that there's something more that they're called to do. It's something different than they've never. How exciting is that?
Mm-hmm. It'll be fun. Something interesting that you may not know is that I am deaf. I wear hearing aids. I became deaf when I was 19 from a fall while barefoot water skiing, the same sport that I got back into.
Wow.
Yeah, it actually turned into a blessing because I spent my entire life being hard of hearing and struggling to fit in, struggling to, you know, being able to hear a little bit. And then after becoming deaf, of course, my life just took a big turn. It was a really dark time at first. And I woke up one morning and I made a decision to start learning American Sign Language. I met my husband. He is also deaf. We have 3 kids that are now deaf. They were all born with normal hearing. We have an extremely rare gene in our family. So everybody was born with normal hearing, and we've all become deaf and hard of hearing in different ways. But, you know, I say it's a blessing because I always say that my world, before I became deaf, my world was like this. And then after becoming deaf, my world just expanded.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Oh, my gosh.
So, there's a rumor going around K-PHRED land that that Catryn has helped agreed to help us not only broadcast audio, but work on being able to do live transcription on the K-PHRED website. So literally, she's agreed to work. She's agreed to work on making it so not only people can hear K-PHRED, but can read K-PHRED. So if this rumor is true, I got to ask you. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Mr. Norris last week. What type of brain aneurysm did you have when you agreed to that?
What type of brain aneurysm?
Yeah, did you have when you agreed to say yes?
When I agreed to say yes, look at it this way. Part of the fun in the second half of life is saying yes to things that are different, saying yes to things that terrify you.
Yeah.
There's nothing more terrifying than a deaf person doing a radio show. I mean, those things are just not compatible. So, I don't know. I think I'm just going to dive in and hope we're going to have a lot of fun doing this together, and we'll see what happens.
I love it.
So
I love it. I love it. Talk about brave. Woohoo! Go. That's just amazing, Catryn. You are amazing. Huge, huge stuff.
So I'm not going to take her down the rabbit hole because she already agreed to crawl down that one earlier by saying yes. I'm just going to give her some. She should have done this, but she didn't. So it's all good. I'm a happy man because I'm not the only one trying to figure it out, because after we first talked, I thought, how do I make this happen? Now at least we got help.
Yes. Oh, it's brilliant. So, quick question, though, for Catryn about wisdom. What piece of wisdom would Catryn like to share with us today?
Well, a piece of wisdom. I think the best piece of wisdom I could share today is that, it's cliche. Life is short. Tomorrow is not promised to us. We have to stop living like we are so 100% sure that we're going to wake up tomorrow with the same life. So we really have to grab today and really take a good hard look at how do you want to live, and answer that question, and then make your decisions based on those answers.
Beautiful. That's great. Seize the day. Every moment is, there's miracles waiting to happen. We just need to step up. Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. Did you just say carpe diem?
I might have said that, yes.
All right. So for all of our listeners out there, I want you to go out and search for "This Could Be the Day" and the phrase "bald box" on it, because that is my favorite interpretation of carpe diem. All right. So.
Okay. All righty then, Fred.
It's been a rough show. We've had some issues. Jeff and I have been dealing with them, which is why this show has been more normal than past ones. And I'm not going to go supernova normal here to even it out. We're just going to keep it, sub-normal for the show. I got a call today, and it kind of shook me because it was from someone near and dear to my heart. And one of her in-laws has been diagnosed with cancer. And I had mentioned to this person, because I talked to him yesterday, and I said, this is why you asked me yesterday if I was okay, because, I've had the heart attack. Matt kind of knows what that like, because they cracked him open like a fish earlier this year, which is why he's only got one episode. But I started thinking about the whole wisdom thing. And when I look at wisdom, it becomes, we all have knowledge. Sometimes we develop insight into that knowledge. And to me, insight into something is where wisdom comes from. Now, who wants to tell me I'm wrong? Who wants to jump in and make any comment? I'll take all comers. Ooh. 323-580-5755, or chat at the site, or listen at the site, thankfully. So come on. Who wants to jump? Where do you gain wisdom from? Somebody earlier said something, and it's like, yeah, from life sucking is where you learn it from. But
that's pretty much. I agree with that, Fred. When we experience strife and struggles, hopefully we learn something. And that's something that we learn, hopefully, could or would be considered to be wisdom.
Okay. Who else has got something to say? Kelly.
Well, I actually was going to agree with you, because I do think that you get it from things that happen in life, just like Barbara said. But I think it also comes from having the attitude to find the wisdom out of the situation, as opposed to having the attitude of, well, this happened to me. This just keeps happening in my life. Figure out what the wisdom is that you can take away from it, not just to learn something new, to have the survivor attitude instead of the victim attitude. So that's my take on it.
Ooh,
absolutely. I have to say something. Instead of saying this happened to me, say this happened for me to grow, for me to learn, for me to have that breakthrough. It happened for me. If I hadn't had that experience, maybe I wouldn't have had this end result. I wouldn't have grown. I wouldn't have taken that step, that type of thing.
That's way positive. I'm sorry. I'm still back at Murphy. Worst possible thing, I agree with the whole point of you got to be stubborn in the face of defeat and just keep pounding away until you fix it. And, it's all good, but you're really a positive person. All right. Let's pick on somebody else. Matt, you got your mic unmuted. Your thoughts on the topic?
Well, I too do agree with you, Fred. It does take a lot of introspective look to find, my part in things and what I could have done differently. However, one of the most brilliant pieces of advice pieces of wisdom I've ever been given, and it wasn't until, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. I can't remember if it was Naomi or who said this, but
attribute it to Naomi. It'll make it better.
Might have been Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters. I'm not sure. But anyhow, by the way, we're going to go see them live in about 12 days.
10 days.
How many? Anyhow, the best piece of advice, best piece of wisdom was 11 days. Oh, cool. Was that I had to give myself permission to suck. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and so if I can't succeed at something immediately, I just drop it. But once I heard that, I was like, oh, wait, you mean I can make mistakes? I can screw up? So it gave me a lot of courage to try some stuff. And, life's better. Now I'm a bass player. I'm pretty much running a business now. There's a lot of things that I'm doing and I'm comfortable that I would not had the courage or the comfort or the confidence to do.
This is getting tiring. People agreeing with me. So, Jeff. You got to mute yourself, dude.
Yeah, you're going to do that to me?
Yeah, I am. We both know that was coming.
Experience applied. So I kind of agree with you. I'm chewing on it. I'm sitting here listening, processing.
Ooh, folks, that smell that scent you smell is Jeff's brain burning. He might learn something from today. We've accomplished something much, much greater than I ever expected.
Glad I could do that for you, Fred. Offer my brain on the altar.
Yeah, well, it was your brain that brought K-PHRED into existence. I may have just visualized it, architected it.
No, it was your idea. I just
put it together. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, somebody handed me the puzzle pieces, and
All
anyway.
right. So who are we going to pick on? Barbara, you get to take a shot at him.
I don't know about taking a shot at anybody, Fred. Sorry.
This is K-PHRED land. What do you expect? All right. Poke them, jab them. Punch sounds, a bit violent, but poke them or jab them or pillow fight them, whatever.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, Jeff, what are you really thinking right now?
I was going to Google to, what is wisdom? And in Google's infinite AI processing, it says wisdom is the ability to use knowledge and experience to make good decisions and judgment and to act in a way that benefits oneself and others. It can also refer to the quality of being a good judge. For example, someone might say he hosts a weekly radio show in which he dispenses wisdom on a variety of subjects. And this is no lie. That is what Google said.
Wow, my goodness.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good place to wrap it up, Fred.
Wait, we're supposed to apply wisdom?
Wouldn't be here if you were. Wouldn't be here if you were. But I'll give you, that's a really good, I'll let you slide at this point. Let's go with Catryn. Yeah, you got your hands up. That means you want it. Excellent. I love it when they come at it. Yeah, bring it.
Yes, bring it. Well, I think it's so wonderful that we're talking about wisdom, but, I feel like it starts with, to tie into what Jeff was saying with what Google said, from the knowledge, and then it can kind of branch off. So if you have that experience and that knowledge and you don't understand it and learn from it, I feel like that path also peels off to regret, because you've had that experience, you didn't learn from it, and it has that negative energy attached to it. So when you can go from the experience, standing it and applying it, that's when you can get to wisdom, and you have that then to help others, help yourself in the future. And if you don't do it, I think it goes to regret. So I'd love to hear what other people's thoughts are on that, on kind of the other side of the coin of wisdom.
So the other side of the coin of Matt, Naomi, come on down and bring it.
So basically what I was going to say was what Catryn just said, like almost verbatim. I know that for me, it's about learning new ways to react to the world and applying that to my life and helping other people to apply that to their lives. And I don't know if that equates to wisdom or if that's just experience or if I'm just talking out the side of my neck right now.
You're married to Matt.
Which is altogether possible.
You're married to Matt. We'll cut you slack.
Well, yeah, that's true. Thanks, I appreciate that.
Jeff wants to ask you a question. Go, Jeff.
Well, no, I was kind of in the whole regret thing.
Sure.
Is regret a part of the process, though, to get to wisdom? Because if we don't see the pain, if we don't see the negative, is that just a failure? I mean, isn't that required to bring us to take the information and apply it and do something good with it?
Yes.
Just a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think when we're in enough pain, we're willing to change. But, unfortunately, a lot of people will be in the pain and then they'll think, but the work they're looking at to get out of that situation, it seems like a huge mountain, and they just won't do it. I mean, I know so many people that would greatly benefit from working a 12-step program, but they think, I'm okay. I can just do this. I don't have to do that, and I'll be fine. And 3 months later, they're back with the same exact problem. Some people live in denial, but once that denial is broken, then you can change. But that does start with that regret.
So, one of the people that knows a whole lot about regret and pain, the person who was instrumental in starting Fred back on the whole Let's Broadcast 7x24, host of Pillar's Principles, Mr. Ray Pillar. Ray, you have advice that's on wisdom, don't you? Or at least comments.
I have a comment. I have some wisdom on concerning wisdom.
Bring it, dude.
And it's very brief, and it may seem logical, but people don't follow it. And my piece of advice is shut your mouth and listen.
If I shut my mouth, then how do I ask questions?
Well, knowing you, Fred, you wouldn't.
All right. So since you're here, I get to, and Ray is a veteran of down the rabbit hole questions. He's had more down the rabbit hole questions thrown at him than anybody else on earth. So we'll see how well he does today. So more and more, they're warning about people creating, and actually Zoom allows you to create an AI profile that can go to Zoom meetings. how will you tell in the future whether you're dealing with an AI Fred versus the real one?
Well, I don't think there is a real Fred. I think you're AI right from the beginning. So, no, I couldn't. If the real one was to show up, I'm sure he'd be a really nice fellow to get to know.
Yeah.
No comment?
Yeah, I got a comment. Just a second. Yeah, like I said, I grew up on the South Side. There was wisdom developed by there. All right, so we haven't heard from Karen. Bring it on, your comments on wisdom and how we get it. And if you're listening, you can call in at 323-580-5755 and ask your question on wisdom or chat at the website. So, Karen, your thoughts on how we get wisdom and why we get wisdom, and when we don't get wisdom, what happens?
I think wisdom comes from experience. I mean, with every experience we have, we learn, we grow, we stumble, we fall. You know, it all becomes ingrained in us, and we become our wisdom. Because if you don't read, if you don't, watch TV, if you don't talk to anybody, it's pretty tough to grow, right? So I think we grow from the wisdom that we're exposed to from other people, and I really like what Barbara said, that things happen for us. I really believe that. Because even in the darkest days and the darkest experiences, there is a gift. There is a blessing in every bit of darkness that we experience. There's something of light to be learned from. So that's wisdom.
Everything happens for a reason.
So I just heard you say, in my brain, it flashed wisdom from the pain. So I got one question then. Are you Helen ready? Sorry, that tells me how old I am. Barbara, jump in here.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm ready. I don't know about Helen.
Ooh, that's why she's co-host, folks.
Yes. So I was thinking while y'all were talking about wisdom that is shared in the Bible. Now, I haven't really actually read a whole lot of the Bible. However, I have lots of people talk to me about the Bible. And in there, I believe there's a lot of wisdom. And I don't know, and this be a question I'd ask you all. Can you or do you think that you could read wisdom and then somehow be able to act on that wisdom? And if that was true, then wouldn't it be wise to read about wisdom so that we could act and have more wisdom in our life? I just don't know. Personally, I don't know that I could read somebody else's wisdom and know what to do with it.
So I would say that, Naomi, you can jump in. I would say I remember reading Sun Tzu's Art of War, and there's a whole lot of wisdom in that I've adapted towards my own life. So, Naomi, what you got to say?
For me, if I am reading about wisdom and not applying it to my life, there's no point in taking the time to study or to read and to read. You know, I don't read the Bible. I'm not, just not something that I spend my time doing, but there are other books that I read that have wisdom in them. And I apply, when I read something that really resonates with me, I apply that to my life, and I try to live that out in my day-to-day life. So that's kind of the point of recovery to me, and that's kind of the point of really of living life. It's applying wisdom and sharing that wisdom with other people so that they can improve their lives. I don't know if that makes sense.
totally makes sense, and I love that, and I believe that sitting in a room with other people and hearing their stories and how they handled things and how their life changed because they took that knowledge and that wisdom from somebody else, and then they were able to achieve their life because of it. That's, for me, that's different than reading a book. I don't know that I learned from reading about somebody else's experience, but to sit in a room with other people or hear from somebody else, for me, that has an impact. You know, but then I think about, right? Then I think about our parents, and our parents trying to share their wisdom with us. And somehow it just, you know, it just doesn't, all their wisdom that they wanted to share just didn't sink in that moment. And I still made a lot of growth lessons occur in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not something that everyone will, like Matt was talking about how not everybody gets it at first, like they don't do the work, like they don't apply it. For a lot of people, that's true. Like it's the same with wisdom. Like they don't want to take the time to really like delve. You know what I mean?
So let's go to the other side. Let's go to your other half. He's patiently has his hand up. Mr. Matt, say something that doesn't get you in trouble tonight.
There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. I can read and listen to what people have to say, but until I go out and experience in the world, it's just knowledge. Knowledge does lead to wisdom, you know, and maybe wisdom can lead to more knowledge. But to me, there's a difference between the two. You know, you can tell me that the stove is hot, and I trust you, and I believe that you tell me that this is, you know, till I touch it and find out for myself. That's when the wisdom kicks in.
Ooh. All right. So I remember an incident way back. I was helping a boss move out of his house, and he owned several firearms. And wisdom was you never pulled the trigger unless you knew what you're aiming at. And it was sticking up in a box, and I almost thought about being funny and going and you know, pulling the trigger. And I didn't because, you know, well, wisdom says you don't do that. Well, his girlfriend he realized his girlfriend had packed him, and he starts yelling at her because they'd been loaded. So if I'd been screwing around, because of course I've never, you know, if I had been screwing around because I won't say it was wisdom, it was somebody else's wisdom that it appears that I understood far better after I didn't blow my head off. So how does that fit in? Because I didn't have to do it to know that it was stupid. It was in that last second I pulled my hand away going, you know what? I'm going to burn my hand off because of the raging flames. So is that wisdom, instinct, or something else?
Oh, survival instinct, most likely.
Knowledge. You knew the gun could be loaded. And I don't know about you, but I was taught if you're handling a firearm, you treat it as if it is loaded, no matter what.
Perfect.
You know?
Yeah.
Disagree with you. My folks never had them. I think at that point in time, the last time I had fired a .22 was at Boy Scout camp. So I understood the knowledge of it, but it wasn't something that I'd ever been in a situation like I was there to apply.
You were applying your knowledge to the situation.
Yeah.
It was dumb luck that I decided not to screw off.
Well,
or God's hand, your choice.
God's intervention. You know, Proverbs says that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. So,
you know, it could be a lot of different things. I mean, survival instinct, you know, God saying don't do that. Wisdom from, you know, firing a .22 and understanding the danger of it. You know, maybe that primal thing came back. Who knows?
Ray, you had something to say, and then we'll hit Kelly. You were going to say something, Ray?
I was, but I forgot. I forgot what it was. But yes, I think speaking of firearms, at least my thought is, why do you have one if it's not loaded?
I like that.
Well, there's the whole idea that you have it, you keep it loaded perhaps, but you aren't going to travel with it loaded. You're not going to move with it loaded for safety purposes. But where I was going to go is exactly where Jeff was going, and that is divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yes, absolutely.
Absolutely divine intervention in that moment that kept you from pulling that trigger and being funny about it, which of course would have been tragic, but that was my thought on it.
Would have pissed off my second wife. Okay, so so I've had multiple instances of what I call divine intervention. Somebody seeing me as I run through a stoplight having a heart attack. How many times have you had, because now we're going really from wisdom, divine intervention in your life? Barbara.
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. I don't know about intervention. I certainly have been guided at times, and maybe that was life-saving. I don't know, but I call it inner guidance. Divine intervention could probably be the same thing. But I feel very blessed to have been guided and directed to the path that I'm on right now. You know, if this hadn't happened, I don't know where I'd be. I mean, I was computer geek to the max and worked with computers and didn't really talk or understand people. And here I am, you know, years later, I was guided to this path to teach people. It's like, oh my God, I have to get in front of people and talk? That's, I don't know. And here I am, you know, years later now with you all talking on the radio, and I call that divine guidance rather than, maybe it was intervention. Maybe that's what it was. It's something that got me to here, and I'm grateful. I'll say that.
Likes abuse. Kelly?
Yes, well, I agree with what you're saying, Barbara. I think there can be a difference between divine intervention and divine guidance. Divine guidance happens more over a period of time, whereas divine intervention was just in that moment. It was step in and stop Fred from doing something. But, you know, there's a whole lot more to this. I think there can be divine guidance or divine intervention when somebody steps into your life. For example, what I was thinking of when Fred asked the question about what were examples of divine intervention in your life, people have just stepped into my life at times when I really needed something or needed somebody, and they have brought the opportunity to me. For example, Fred and Lynn Lionhood stepped into my life, and that brought me to this radio show. There have been other times when, for example, my husband stepped into my life, and he wasn't my husband at that time, but he stepped in to help me with something, and eventually we did get married. So there are a lot of things that in my life, it's been people showing up.
I love that. I think you're right. People showing up, and the whole thing, like maybe it was divine intervention. The whole reason I'm here and got started on this path was because I was at my computer, and on my computer screen came up information about coaching, and that was the moment I went, oh, I think this might be it. This might be what I'm supposed to do, and that changed everything. So maybe that was divine intervention that, you know, had me end up on that, down the rabbit hole, as we say, Fred. I was on the internet going down the rabbit hole, and all of a sudden this thing's on my screen, and my life changed dramatically from that moment forward. So that was that divine intervention, maybe.
Well, that could have been Google ads too. We're not quite sure.
No.
Or God forbid, Bing ads. I mean, and remember Bing ads, because we're going to go there. One other thing, because that's been in the news after we get done with this. Karen, you got anything to say on this?
That's, you guys have been talking up a storm. It's kind of hard to add to it.
But
I'm drawing a blank right now.
All right. So we'll go.
Folks, I hate to say it, but me and Naomi, we got stuff we got to go do.
Go.
Fred, I'll be in touch soon because there's a lot of things I have to ask, and depending on how certain things work out and timing and all that, like how in the world do you run mix? All right, thanks. Bye.
That's fine, my friend. So let's go talk to since Karen said drawing a blank, we'll ask Jeff. Times of divine intervention or guidance in your life. And you're muted, dude.
What comes to mind is, so before my divorce, I was working with a pastor from the church, and we were meeting and doing a Bible study, and we were going through a book and, you know, be a better husband and all that sort of thing. And we had gone through 2 books, and one of the gentlemen that was from a different campus, same church, had come to, we were meeting at McDonald's in the morning, and early in the morning, and he just showed up. I did not know this gentleman at all, but he showed up, and he knew the pastor, and they were talking, and they introduced me to him, and so then we saw him, or I saw him multiple times, probably 4 or 5 times, and we started communicating. Then he started coming to the group too, and we started to do a Bible study. Now, as my story evolves, then, you know, things are getting worse at home, and the church gets engaged, and they come to the point where they're like, well, Jeff, we don't think you're doing things right. And my now ex-wife got an emergency order to kick me out of the house. Well, I was so involved in my family and my church. My social circle was rather small. But through meeting this gentleman, he opened up his house to me when I didn't have a place to go. And I stayed with him for 6 weeks while this order of protection was in play. And, you know, God just he just made the way. He prepared the way. If you want to talk about divine intervention, to me, that was just like, I was sitting there in awe. So I know some people have different opinions on whether or not they want to believe in God. For me, it was obvious, you know, and I had a clear path right there, and I stayed with him. I then got back into the house, and later down the road, after she filed for divorce, she kicked me out of the house again. And while I was getting things set up, he let me stay there again. I can't tell you, like I wouldn't have connected with this gentleman any other way. But he would stay up late at night listening to me complain about my divorce situation, what was going on, and he just demonstrated a Christ-like love to me that I can't tell you where or why or how that ever showed up. So that's me and my divine interventions. That's just one of multiple, but that was there. That happened.
That's beautiful. I call people like that earth angels. They're here to really let the hand of God work through them. And yeah, miracles
definitely happened.
Yeah.
Hope someday I can do that for somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Karen, you wanted to jump in?
I'm sorry. I just said, Jeff, I think you already have.
Well,
in
thank you.
A lot of ways. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not dead yet, so I got more to go.
There you go. Oh, sorry, Fred. Talked over you there.
That's fine. I was going to say, Karen had her hand up. Did she want to say something? Otherwise, I'm going to go pick on Ray.
Okay, so now that I've had a moment to think about this a little bit deeper, here's what's coming up for me. When I think of divine guidance, I think about our intuition.
Yes.
You know, that's where I think divine guidance comes in when we listen within. Divine intervention is the external things that happen to us to move our path this way or move our path that way.
Yes.
I won't pick on that. To me, that explains a whole lot.
Yep.
That it was divine intervention when that car went down the 10-foot embankment and rolled and spun, and I still walked away. It was divine guidance when I didn't go down that dark alley in Chicago one night and a couple of people jump out on top of me. So I love that one. Ray, jump in with wisdom. What's your...
Well, we're talking about divine intervention. I've had recently a couple of incidents that I thought were divine intervention. I was scheduled to have my RV in the service department at a particular place in Indiana, and during that time, if I would have been there, the place burned down, and so that was, I thought, divine intervention. I decided to cancel that appointment. That's the reason I wasn't there. It's there now, but that's a whole other story. But and then normally where I park it is I own a piece of land in what's called Woodhaven, and they had a tornado, and a tree bigger than I could wrap my hands around was lifted up and threw it across the pad, but we weren't there. So
Praise
that
Lord.
I felt was intervention. And then most recently, in these little things, and I thank God every time these things happen, because it's a reminder of who's in charge. And recently I was pulling out of a parking lot, looked right, no cars coming. Looked left, no cars coming. All of a sudden, as I begin to pull out and I'm in the middle of the road, this car goes past me, probably doing 50 miles an hour. And of course, I slam on the brakes, and I don't know why the person would be speeding in a parking lot, but he was. And for whatever reason, I caught that image of that vehicle, even though I had looked right, and they weren't there. But I was had enough wisdom to step on the brakes as he went by me. So,
well, see, the thing you gotta know, folks, is Ray drives a 900-foot RV that's nuclear powered, with flames along the side, and
not quite, but
it makes the old KISS bus look like a microbus. Barbara, would you like to chime in?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm like hearing a lot of really awesome things about wisdom, divine intervention, and divine guidance. And I like some of the things you shared, Fred, about keeping you're here. You're still here. I mean, I know that you had an experience where you had a heart attack not that long ago, and you're still here.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think that is?
Well, so I will tell you.
That's because God's not done with him yet. That's why.
Amen. Amen. So there's a couple of things. You ask why we're here. I'm not going to go into why he let me go home from the hospital. I won't go in there. But I will tell you that early on, I did my research, and I knew that most people, the majority of folks who had heart attacks as late as I did in life, did not make 5 years. And the Wednesday after I went home on a Tuesday, and I always joke, the doctor told me to go home, rest and relax. And I said, Doc, I got a show to do Thursday. Ray was on it. And he said, I recommend you go home, rest and relax. And so after the show, I did. But that Wednesday, I woke up and I was honestly scared crapless to get out of bed. I figured I was going to die. And I refused to live in fear and pulled myself out. But why am I still here? For 5 years, I didn't think I was going to make 5 years. And Ray actually was one of the first people after I'd made the 5-year anniversary I admitted it to. The second one, I admitted it to, was my partner, Michelle. And she looked at me and said, I knew you would.
Mm.
And I kind of rocked backwards, flabbergasted is the only word I can use, and said, how the hell did you know? I didn't think I would. And she summed it up in probably one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. 2 words. You're stubborn. So if you want to know why I'm still here, because I'm stubborn and I refuse to give up. I'm grateful for every day I wake up.
That is true. I've seen that in you.
Other people we know call me Grateful Fred, and even though I still claim to be a pain in the ass, pain in your ass, pain in my ass is my pronouns, Pita Pima Pia, I am grateful for every day. I'm still Grumpy Grandpa, but I'm grateful for every day. And I look to help others get their word out, which is why we're broadcasting here. It's that insane idea of giving people a platform to help others, because way too often we get the big media, big everyone else. They don't want diversity of opinion. They don't want diversity of thought. And anyone who knows me knows, well, there's an instance way, way back when I was a member of the Greater O'Hare Association in Chicago, and they went down to Springfield, Illinois to protest a business tax going on there. And there's a guy out, we're on the steps of the Capitol, and the speaker said, and the governor thinks we're going to take this. And all of a sudden a voice rang out saying, well, the governor's an idiot. And there was a ripple of laughter across the audience, except for the 4 or 5 people around me. So I'm stubborn, and I still want to say power to the people.
Yes, I love that. See, so I believe that you're still here for a reason, and that reason might be K-PHRED.
To be a pain in the ass to those who need one. All right.
Yeah. I was one more thing. You are a motivator, Fred. I mean, you are bringing in and attracting to you, and that's the law of attraction. You're bringing in the most amazing people that have a gift that they want to share. They have some wisdom that they want to share with people. They have compassion for people. They love people, and they want to lift people up. And that's what you've created.
See, to me, a motivator is a very large dog with long, pointy teeth.
I always thought him as more of an instigator than a motivator.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a cattle prod.
One of my friends once said, you will always be the calm amidst the chaos, where moments before you are the chaos amidst the calm, which I took to mean I hate status quo, and so I'm going to disrupt it. Mm-hmm. Karen, any last thoughts before we end this broadcast?
Wow, any last thoughts? Wow, you're really putting me on the spot here, and I'm going to have to think faster, I guess.
Exactly.
I think the last words is that back and enjoy. This summer is going very, very, very fast. And if you haven't laughed, if you haven't enjoyed it yet, if you haven't gotten a swimsuit yet, get out there. Start enjoying summer before it's gone.
Fair enough. Ray, your last words of wisdom for the day.
Yeah, I thank the Lord every day. I wake up. Here I am, Lord. What can I do? What can I do for you?
Ooh, servant's heart. Excellent. Mr. Norris.
I share Ray's thoughts there. It's just I don't see myself working for myself anymore. It's just whatever the Lord wants put in front of me. With my kids, I find a lot of little explosions and things that happen, and they require a lot of energy and effort. And I'm sitting there going, why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing it for the Lord. And, it brings it down into perspective and take each day one day at a time. And that's all we got.
When you said one day at a time, all I could do was flash to the old 70s or 80s TV show, One Day at a Time. Good God, TV. modified my brain. All right, to the woman who volunteered to co-host this with me, Barbara, what's your last thoughts?
Well, I love what's been shared right here is that, I believe that we're here to be of service. Maybe not everybody's here to be of what they would call service, but they have gifts. Everybody has a gift to share, and if you are listening and you have a message that you want to share, KPHRED.com, which is spelled KPHRED.com, is the place that you might want to go and visit to learn more about how your voice can be shared with the world. Because that's our goal, is to share our courage, strength, and hope that we will all eventually be lifted up and have unity amongst humanity so that we can have a better world. That's it.
Nicely said.
I can't do any better, so I'm just going to hit the music, and we'll be back in 2 weeks, folks, with more interesting thoughts, comments, shows, and victims. Well, not victims, because, if you're here, you volunteer for it, so therefore you're not a victim then. Have a great week, folks. Do a random act of kindness. It freaks people out. Lighting up the night, we're gonna dance like it's our last night alive. Hands up in the air, we're reaching for the sky, no looking back now, baby. We're ready to fly, the beat keeps pumping, flowing through our veins. We're losing ourselves in this electrifying game. We're drifting down, we feel so alive with every move we make. We're gonna take this time, we get music taking over the world. No limits or boundaries, we'll let our dreams unfurl. The rhythm is a heartbeat, it's running through our veins. We're K-PHRED music, we're gonna make it rain.
MODO.US. Visit MODO.US for the best free play social casino experience wherever you are. Modo offers a huge selection of Vegas-style games with free spins, exciting promotions, and always generous jackpots. You can waste your time with the others, or you can win at Modo. Register today at MODO.US for your free welcome bonus.
Modo is a social casino. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Play responsibly. Conditions apply. See website for details.
MODO.US.